Hujambo, habari gani? Oh, Furaha Sabasiku, Furaha Sabasiku, Furaha Sabasiku, Furaha Sabasiku. Happy seventh day. And Happy New Year. Ah, we already went through that. Anyhow, back again, reading from the book of life, the second book of Moses, Exodus, chapter 16, and let us begin. And they journeyed from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they departed from the land of Egypt. Then the whole congregation of the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said to them, "Oh, that we had died by the hand of the God in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the pots of meat, and when we ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger." Then the God said to Moses, "Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain quota every day, that I may test them whether they will walk in my law or not. And it shall be on the 6th day that they shall prepare what they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily." Then Moses and Aaron said to all the children of Israel, "At evening you shall know that the God has brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you shall see the glory of the God, for he hears your complaints against the God. But what are we that you complain against us?" Also Moses said, "This shall be seen when the God gives you meat to eat in the evening, and in the morning bread to the full. For the God hears your complaints which you make against him. And what are we? Your complaints are not against us, but against the God." Then Moses spoke to Aaron, "Say to all the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before the God, for he has heard your complaints." Now it came to pass, as Aaron spoke to the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked towards the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the God appeared in the cloud. And the God spoke to Moses, saying, "I have heard the complaints of the children of Israel. Speak to them, saying, At twilight you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread. And you shall know that I am the God, your God." So it was that quails came up at the evening and covered the camp. And in the morning the dew lay all around the camp. And when the layer of dew lifted, there on the surface of the wilderness was a small round substance, as fine as frost on the ground. So when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, "What is it?" For they did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, "This is the bread which the God has given you to eat. This is the thing which the God has commanded. Let every man gather it according to each one's need, one omer for each person, according to the number of persons. Let every man take from those who are in his tent." Then the children of Israel did so, and gathered, some more, some less. So when he measured about by omers, he who gathered much had nothing over, and he who gathered little had no lack. Every man had gathered according to each one's need. And Moses said, "Let no one leave any of it till morning." Notwithstanding, they did not heed Moses, but some of them left part of it until morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moses was angry with them. So they gathered it every morning, every man according to his need, and when the sun became hot, it melted. And so it was on the sixth day that they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for each one. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. Then he said to them, This is what the God has said. Tomorrow is the Sabbath rest, a holy Sabbath to the God. Bake what you will bake today, and boil what you will boil, and lay up for yourself all that remains to be kept until morning. So they laid it up till morning as Moses had commanded, and it did not stink, nor were there any worms in it. Then Moses said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath to the God. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the seventh day, the Sabbath, there will be none. Now it happened that some of the people went out on the seventh day to gather, but they found none. And the God said to Moses, How long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for the God has given you the Sabbath. Therefore he gives you on the sixth day bread for 2 days. Let every man remain in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day. So the people rested on the seventh day. And the house of Israel called its name Manna, and it was like white coriander seed, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. Then Moses said, This is the day which the God has commanded. Fill the omer with it, to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread with which I fed you in the wilderness when I brought you out of the land of Egypt. And Moses said to Aaron, Take a pot and put an omer of manna in it, and lay it up before the God, to be kept for your generations. As the God commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testament to be kept. And the children of Israel ate manna 40 years until they came to an inhabited land. They ate manna until they came to the border of the land of Canaan. Now, Omer is 1/10 of an ephah. Eight, eight, EPHA, eight, ephah. Yeah, ephah. Chapter 17. Then all the generation of the children of Israel set out of their journey from the wilderness of Sin, according to the commandment of the God, and camped in Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people contended with Moses and said, Give us water that we may drink. So Moses said to them, What do you contend with me? Why do you contend with me? Why do you tempt thee God? And the people thirsted there for water. And the people complained against Moses and said, Why is it you have brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? So Moses cried out to the God, saying, What shall I do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me. And the God said to Moses, Go out before the people, and take with you some of the elders of Israel. Also take in your hand your rod with which you struck the river, and go. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock, and hold wave, and ye shall strike the rock, and water will come out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did it in the sight of the elders of Israel. So he called the name of the place Massa and Meribah, because of the contention of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the God, saying, Is the God among us or not? Now Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim, and Moses said to Yahshua, Choose us some men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Yahshua did as Moses said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And so it was when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands became heavy. So they took a stone and put it up under him, and he sat on it. And Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on each side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. So Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. Then the God said to Moses, write this for a memorial in the book, and recounting the hearing of Joshua that I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Notice one more time. Exodus chapter 17, verse 14. Then the God said to Moses, write this for memorial in the book. This book, the book of life. Just read and recount it in the hearing of Joshua. And I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar and called his name, the God is my bound. For he said, because the God has sworn, the God will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Chapter 18. And Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, that the God had brought Israel out of Egypt. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, with her two sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a foreign land. And the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said, the God of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of God. Then he said to Moses, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her two sons with her. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, bowed down, and kissed him. And they asked each other about their well-being, and they went into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the God had done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the hardships that had come upon them on the way, and how the God had delivered them. Then Jethro rejoiced for all the good which the God had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, blessed be the God, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the God is greater than all the gods, for in the very thing in which they behaved proudly, he was above them. One more time. Exodus chapter 18, verse 11. Now I know that the God is greater than all the gods. Because they be putting Lord, I don't believe in lords, masters, none of that. I put who it is. The God is greater than all the gods. Yes, it is. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and other sacrifices to offer to God. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. And so it was on the next day that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood before Moses from morning until evening. So when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did for the people, he said, what is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit and all the people stand before you from morning until evening? And Moses said to his father-in-law, because the people come to me to inquire of God. When they have a difficulty, they come to me, and I judge between one and another, and I make known the statutes of God and his laws. So Moses' father-in-law said to him, the thing that you do is not good. Both you and these people who are with you will surely wear yourselves out. For this thing is too much for you. You are not able to form it by yourself. Listen now to my voice. I will give you counsel, and God will be with you. Stand before God for the people, so that you may bring the difficulties to God. And ye shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and show them the way in which they must walk, and the work they must do. Moreover, you shall select from all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place each such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people at all times. Then it will be that every great matter they shall bring to you, But every small matter they themselves shall judge. So it will be easier for you, for they will bear the burden with you. If you do this thing and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure. And all these people will also go to their place in peace. So Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. So they judged the people at all times. The hard cases they brought to Moses, but they judged every small case themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way to his own land. Chapter 19. In the third month, after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Egypt, on the same day they came to the wilderness of Sinai, for they had departed from Arabia. Phoebe had come to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain. And Moses went up to God, and the God called to him from the mountain, saying, Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be a special treasure to me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. So Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before them all these words which the God commanded him. Then all the people answered together and said, All that the God has spoken we will do. So Moses brought back the words of the people to the God. And the God said to Moses, Behold, I will come to you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you, and believe you forever. So Moses told the words of the people to the God. Then the God said to Moses, Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. And let them be ready for the third day, for on the third day the God will come down upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. You shall set bounds for the people all around, saying, Take heed to yourself that you do not go up to the mountains or touch its base. Whoever touches the mountain shall surely be put to death. Not a hand shall touch him, but he shall surely be stoned or shot with an arrow, whether man or beast, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds long, they shall come near the mountain. So Moses went down from the mountain to the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said to the people, Be ready for the third day. Do not come near your wives. Then it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunderings and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountain. And the sound of the trumpet was very loud, so that all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet with God. And they stood at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was completely in smoke, because the God descended upon it in fire. Its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. And when the blast of the trumpet sounded long and became louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him by voice. Then the God came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain, and the God called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. And the God said to Moses, Go down and warn the people, lest they break through to gaze at the God, and many of them perish. Also let the priests who come near the God consecrate themselves, lest the God break out against them. But Moses said to the God, The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, Set bounds around the mountain and consecrate it. Then the God said to him, Away, get down, and then come up, you and Aaron with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to the God, lest he break out against them. So Moses went down to the people and spoke to them. Exodus chapter 20. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the God, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. Pay heed to that. Most people don't pay heed to that. I ask you, how many gods is over there? One. Obviously, you ain't paying attention to what he said. You should have no other gods before me. Baby G and me is capitalized. He is the God, a God. That's who he is. It's in him. There's no other terminology for him. The God of gods. Yeah. You shall not make for yourself a carved image. I say again, you shall not make for yourself a carved image while you're running around wearing that carved image of a cross on your chest and got it tatted on you and all this. Wow. It ain't a grave image. What is it? What is it? It's a sign of animosity and hatred, and it ain't even real. And when we get on through here in the New Testament, you're going to see how real it is really not. You're going to see just how real it is really not. Because you can go to Acts 5, Acts chapter 5, Acts chapter 10, Acts chapter 13. It'll tell you right now if that's what you want to do. But anyway, I digress. Let me get back. Now, start this over. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them nor serve them. For I, the God, your God, am a jealous God, visiting iniquities of the father upon the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the God, your God, in vain, for the God will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the God, your God. In it you shall do no work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the God made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the God blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the God, your God, is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's. Now all the people witnessed the thunderings, the lightning flashes, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off. Then they said to Moses, you speak with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said to the people, do not fear, for God has come to test you, and that his fear may be before you, so that you may not sin. So the people stood afar off, but Moses drew near the thick blackness where God was. Then the God said to Moses, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, you have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make anything to be with me. Gods of silver or gods of gold you shall not make for yourselves. An altar of earth you shall make for me. An altar of earth you shall make for me, and ye shall sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In every place where I record my name, I will come to you, and I will bless you. And if you make me an altar of stone, you shall not build it of hewn stone. For if you use your tool on it, you have profaned it. Nor shall you go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness may not be exposed on it. Mm. Chapter 21, Exodus. Now, these are the judgments which you shall set before them. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he shall serve 6 years, and in the seventh he shall go out free and pay nothing. If he comes in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master has given him a wife, and she has borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. But if the servant plainly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him to the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or to the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And if a man sells his daughter to be a female servant, she shall not go out as the male servants do. If she does not please her master, who has betrothed her to himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no right to sell her to a foreign people, since he has dealt deceitfully with her. And if he has betrothed her to his son, he shall deal with her according to the custom of daughters. If he takes another wife, he shall not diminish her food, her clothing, and her marriage rights. And if he does not do these three for her, then she shall go out free without paying money. He who strikes a man so that he dies shall surely be put to death. However, if he did not lie in wait, but God delivered him into his hand, then I will appoint for you a place where he may flee. But if a man acts with premeditation against his neighbor to kill him by treachery, you shall take him from an altar that he may die. And he who strikes his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He who kidnaps a man and sells him, or if he is found in his hand, shall surely be put to death. And he who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. If men contend with each other, and one strikes the other with a stone or with his fist, and he who does not die, but is confined to his bed, if he rises again and walks about outside with his staff, then he who struck him shall be acquitted. He shall only pay for the loss of his time, and shall provide for him to be thoroughly healed. And if a man beats his male or female servant with a rod, so that he dies on his hand, he shall surely be punished. Notwithstanding, if he remains alive a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his property. If men fight, remember now, while y'all trying to glorify them for, out of control. No. Listen to this. Exodus chapter 21, verse 21. Notwithstanding, if he remains alive a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his property. Yeah, that's why I don't believe in slaves, no master, lord, slave, all that. The God of gods. If men fight and hurt a woman with child so that she gives birth prematurely, yet no harm follows, he shall surely be punished accordingly as the woman's husband imposes on him, and he shall pay as the judge determines. But if any harm follows, then you shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. If a man strikes the eye of his male or female servant and destroys it, he shall let him go free for the sake of his eye. And if he knocks out the tooth of his male or female servant, he shall let him go free for the sake of his tooth. If an ox gores a man or a woman to death, then the ox shall surely be stoned, and its flesh shall not be eaten. But the owner of the ox shall be acquitted. But if the ox tended to thrust with his horn in times past, and it has been known to his owner, and he has not kept it confined so that it has killed a man or woman, the ox shall be stoned, and his owner also shall be put to death. If there is imposed on him a sum of money, then he shall pay to redeem his life whatever is imposed on him. Whether it has gored a son or gored a daughter, according to this judgment it shall be done to him. If the ox gores a male or female servant, he shall give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. And if a man opens a pit, or if a man digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or donkey falls in it, the owner of the pit shall make it good. He shall give money to their owner, but the dead animal shall be his. If one man's ox hurts another so that it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money from it. And the dead ox they shall also divide. For if it was known that the ox tended to thrust in time past, and his owner has not kept it confined, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead animal shall be his own. Chapter 22. Exodus. If a man steals an ox or a sheep and slaughters it or sells it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. If the thief is found breaking in and he is struck so that he dies, there shall be no guilt for his bloodshed. If the sun has risen on him, there shall be guilt for his bloodshed. He should make full restitution. If he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the theft is certainly found alive in his hand, whether it is an ox or donkey or sheep, he shall restore double. If a man causes a field or vineyard to be grazed, and lets loose his animal, and it feeds in another man's field, he shall make restitution from the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard. If fire breaks out and catches in thorns, so that the grain, standing grain, or the field is consumed, he who kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. If a man delivers to his neighbor money or articles of keep, and it is stolen out of the man's house, if the thief is found, he shall pay double. If the thief is not found, then the master of the house shall be brought to the judge to see whether he has put his hand into his neighbor's goods. For any kind of trespass, whether it concerns an ox, a donkey, a sheep, or clothing, or for any kind of lost thing which another claims to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whomever the judges condemn shall pay double to his neighbors. If a man delivers to his neighbor a donkey, an ox, a sheep, or any animal to keep, and it dies, is hurt, or driven away, no one seeing it, then an oath of the God shall be between them both, that he has not put his hand into his neighbor's good, and the owner of it shall accept that, and he shall not make it good. But if, in fact, it is stolen from him, he shall make restitution to the owner of it. If it is torn to pieces by a beast, then he shall bring it as evidence, and he shall not make good what was torn. And if a man borrows anything from his neighbor, and it becomes injured or dies, the owner of it not being with it, he shall surely make it good. If his owner was with it, he shall not make it good. If it was hired, it came for his hire. If a man entices a virgin who is not betrothed and lies with her, he shall surely pay the bride price for her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuses to give her to him, he shall pay money according to the bride price of virgins. You shall not permit a sorcerer to live. Wow. Whoever lies with an animal shall surely be put to death. He who sacrifices to any god except to the God only, he shall be utterly destroyed. You shall neither mistreat a stranger nor oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them in any manner, and they cry at all to me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath will become hot, and I will kill you with the sword. Your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. If you lend money to any of my people who are poor among you, you shall not be like a money lender to him. You shall not charge him interest. If you ever take your neighbor's garment as a pledge, you shall return it to him before the sun goes down. For that is his only covering. It is his garment for his skin. What will he sleep in? And it will be that when he cries to me, I will hear, for I am gracious. You shall not revile God, nor curse a ruler of your people. You shall not delay to offer the first of your ripe produce and your juices. The firstborn of your sons you shall give to me. Likewise, you shall do to your oxen and your sheep. It shall be with its mother 7 days. On the 8th day you shall give it to me. And you shall be holy men to me. You shall not eat meat torn by beasts in the field. You shall throw it to the dogs. Chapter 23. Exodus. You shall not circulate a false report. Do not put your hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. You shall not follow a crowd to do evil, nor shall you testify in a dispute so as to turn aside after many to pervert justice. You shall not show partiality to a poor man in his dispute. If you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall surely bring it back to him again. If you see the donkey of one who hates you lying under his burden, and you will refrain from helping it, you will surely help him with it. You shall surely help him with it. You shall not pervert the judgment of your poor in his dispute. Keep yourself far from a false matter. Do not kill the innocent and righteous, for I will not justify the wicked. And ye shall take no bribe, for a bribe blinds the discerning and perverts the words of the righteous. Also, you shall not oppress a stranger, for you know the heart of a stranger, because you were strangers in the land of Egypt. 6 years you shall sow your land and gather in its produce. But the 7th year you shall let it rest and lie fallow, that the poor of your people may eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field may eat. In like manner you shall do with your vineyard and your olive grove. 6 days you shall do your work, and on the 7th day you shall rest. For your ox and your donkey may rest, and the son of your female servant and your stranger may be refreshed. In all that I have said to you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, nor let it be heard from your mouth. 3 times you shall keep a feast to me in the year. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread. You shall eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded you at the time appointed in the month of Abib. For in it you came out of Asia. None shall appear before me empty. And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of your labors, which you have sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering at the end of the year, which you have gathered in the fruit of your labors from the field. 3 times in a year all your males shall appear before thee God. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, nor shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until morning. One more time. Exodus chapter 23, verse 18. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice. Yeah, slinging blood, that's what they was doing back then. It wasn't about no Satan, it was about slinging blood for the God of God on the altar. As we get on into it, you see. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, nor shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until morning. The first of the first fruits of your land you shall bring into the house of the God your God. You shall not boil a young goat in his mother's milk. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Do not provoke him, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. But if you indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries. For my angel will go before you and bring you into the Amorites and the Hittites and the Pazarites and the Canaanites and the Havites and the Jebusites, and I will cut them off. You shall not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do according to their works, but you shall utterly overthrow them and completely break down their sacred pillars. So you shall serve the God, your God, and he will bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of you. No one shall suffer miscarriage or be barren in your land, and I will fulfill the number of your days. I will send my fear before you. I will cause confusion among all the people to whom you come. It will make all your enemies turn their backs to you. And I will send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, and Hittite from before you. I will not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the beasts of the field become too numerous for you. Little by little I will drive them out from before you, until you have increased and you inherit the land. And I will set your bounds from the Red Sea to the sea. Philistia, and from the desert to the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. You shall make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me. For if you serve their gods, it will surely be a snare to you. Chapter 24, Exodus. Now he said to Moses, come up to the God, you and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship from afar. And Moses alone shall come near thee, God, but they shall not come near, nor shall the people go up with him. So Moses came and told the people all the words of thee God, and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words that thee God has said, we will do. And Moses wrote all the words of thee God, and he rose early in the morning and built an altar at the foot of the mountain, and 12 pillars according to the 12 families of Israel. Then he sent young men of the children of Israel, who offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen to thee God. And Moses took half the blood and put it in the bases, and half the blood he sprinkled on the altar. Again, Exodus chapter 24, verse 6. And Moses took half the blood and put it in bases, and half the blood he sprinkled on the altar. Yeah, sprinkling blood has nothing to do with Satan. Then he took the book of the covenant, chapter 7, verse 20, chapter 24, verse 7. Then he took the book of the covenant and read in the hearing of the people, and they said, all that the God has said we would do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood, sprinkling it on the people, and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the God has made with you according to all these words. Then Moses went up, also Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 7 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the God of Israel. And there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of sapphire stone. And it was like the very heaven in its clarity. But on the nobles of the children of Israel he did not lay his hand. So they saw God, and they ate and drank. Then the God said to Moses, come up to me on the mountain, and be there, and I will give you tablets of stone, and the law and commandments which I have written, that you may teach them. So Moses arose with his assistant Joshua, and Moses went up to the mountain of God. And he said to the elders, wait here for us until we come back to you. Indeed, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have a difficulty, let him go up to them. Then Moses went up into the mountain, and a cloud covered the mountain. Now the glory of the God rested on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And on the 7th day he called to Moses out of the midst of the cloud. The sight of the glory of the God was like a consuming fire on the top of the mountain in the eyes of the children of Israel. So Moses went into the midst of the cloud and went up into the mountain. And Moses was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Oh, I'm going to end that right there. Second book of Moses. Exodus. At chapter, what was that? Ending in that chapter 23. Oh. Yeah. I mean, chapter 20, ending in that chapter 24. So next week I start chapter 25. I appreciate those who, checking this out, so on and so forth, and those who, just been, you know, I just got to do what I have to do, man. Excuse me. I have to do what I have to do for my people. Can't say man. It's like I'm disrespecting the ladies. I have to do for my people. I have no choice but to do what I do. Sabasiku, fuha, sabasiku, fuha, sabasiku, fuha, sabasiku. Happy 7th day. We made it to another one. We made it whole new year. Let me see. Let me see if I can say this correctly. Let's try it again. Fuha ya, mwaka, mpunya. Fuha ya, mwaka, mpunya. Happy New Year's. Keep right here. Anyway, that's all the song. Appreciate you coming by, checking the brother out. Hope I can enlighten y'all a little bit more, so you can see that, it's all about God. Just like he said, had no other gods before me. He said, no lords, no masters, none of that. They called each other lords. I'm into the honor God. I'm into my people. I'm into my forefathers, because without them, we always talking about where we come from, 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 where we come from. The book of life. If you want to read the book of life and understand the book of life, and put forth my efforts to show you what he showed me. This is not me taking this upon myself. This is he allowing me to do this. Just like my big brother Jason said, John 12:44. He that truly believes in me, believe not in me, but in he who sent me. One more time, Jason said, not he talking about, hey, he just a speaker, karaoke. Then you got a guy speaking to the microphone. Jason was the speaker. Then you got a guy speaking to the microphone. I'll be the speaker. You want to know who you is? Don't be afraid of who you is. The book of life. Read the book of life. Understand it. Comprehend it. Which you really won't ever be able to do, not totally. Because you're not trying to do that, is you? Really? You think you're really that capable? No, none of us are. We're not supposed to totally comprehend this. This is a guidance. This book is a guidance. It's a guidance as to what you should do. As to what you should do. Anyway, as always, until this time, mimi niko penda na wewe, mimi niko penda na mimi, Mungu kupenda.